Hello. I thought I'd do a topic today regarding DWP and PIP. Just reading an article on my mobile phone. I don't really see that. So, right. Don't show the person name, but it says DWP actions are helping trigger suicide. NHS manager warns. Right. I'm going to tell you a few facts about DWP and PIP because I've gone through those situations. They don't really give a shit, really, who you are and where you're from and what nationality, I suppose. I'm not going to start telling you what benefits I actually claim because no one. But in the past, I've had problems with DWP because Nazi asked people have been putting false claims against me, and I've had to prove that I wasn't running a business online, and people reported me every year for 4 years. And I had to keep proving my innocence that I was not making money online. They told me, yeah, you can sell your own personal belongings, that's okay, as long as you're not running a business. As in, like, going out, buying 20 grand worth of, like, clothes or glasses or whatever, kind of thing. Hello, Andrew. Um, I don't know what it's like in, different countries, but here, it really fucking sucks with the DWP and PIP. Now, where I kept getting reported all the time, I had to keep proving bank statements, showing my bank statements, my address, giving out my date of birth, and all that kind of shit, And sometimes that would take weeks for them to even get back to me saying, oh, yeah, okay, you're fine, don't worry about it, we're not taking no action, just carry on what you're doing. So, I was allowed to sell online my own personal belongings, right? But the thing is, if you was doing something like, let's say you had 3 bank accounts, and even if you only had like a couple of £100 on each, if you wanted to clear those bank accounts, DWP would jump down your fucking throat and say you're defrauding them, right? When you're not. No, you're entitled to have 16 grand in your bank account before they consider to say, well, 16 grand, you can live on that for like X amount of time, right? But 16 grand would not last, more than, 6 months, I don't think. Depends on the person, the habits, how they eat, drink, if they go out socialising and shit like that. That 16 grand, if you've got 16 grand, could be like an inheritance. And would you believe you've got a fucking like declaring inheritance? If someone died and left a will and left you like 16 grand, you've got to fucking apply. Well, you've not got to apply for it, you've got to actually declare it. And that 16 grand, where you saved it or was given it in an inheritance, is like a lifeline for you because like it is like a kind of like emergency backup. Because like everyone needs a little bit of money in their bank account in case of like important situations, like they might suddenly end up getting homeless, being kicked out from a council or the landlord, and they've got to like go looking for someone else, where they can rent, and then they've got to pay money for the removal, X amount in front for the rent and shit like that, So, money is like that person's business and not DWP's business, all right? But DWP apparently is now getting legal right to check so many people's bank accounts because they think that everyone has got X amount of money in their bank accounts and defrauding DWP. Now, DWP, I've had a lot of issues with, all right, in the past. Now, I applied for certain benefits, and they all turned around and said, no, 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 no. Even PIP, right? PIP, I'm going to come on to in a minute. But when you need the help, with DWP, it can be very frustrating, depressing. It can kick up your anxiety chronically. You've got God knows how many forms you've got to fill in just to get your DWP going up. Like, if you lose your job, for instance, yeah, and you need to claim benefits, the amount of forms they send out to you is fucking ridiculous. And I was just reading a story on my mobile where a guy, I won't say his name, but he was having so many issues with DWP where he's been sent so many forms to fill in here over so many weeks, he decided he couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide. And he ain't the only one. There's probably thousands of people who have committed suicide because of these fucking forms they keep sending out. Now, when I filled in my forms, you can get family members to help you out if you want them to help you out, right? But to me, my family had their own personal issues to go through, dealing with and stuff like that, I didn't want to be bugging them. So I went to Sucides Advice. And Sucides Advice was pretty good. I had a deadline to have my form filled in. And I went to Sucides Advice, I told them, I said, oh, well, a bit of a push, we'll have to see if we can get a cancellation, or, if we can squeeze you in, which they were able to do. And they helped me fill out my forms for DWP, Universal Credit, years ago. And if it weren't for them, I would have probably been out on the street. I could have probably been 6 foot under. Because the forms were so depressing, so awkward, so kind of, a lot of the stuff you didn't understand. You didn't know what to put down. They're so ridiculous on some of the questions. It's like, even since the 5 staff them, kind of thing. And they expect people who are trying to claim Universal Credit or PIP to answer all these questions without leaving a blank space. If you leave a blank space, they will write back and say, well, why did you leave a blank space? And that delays even more time for any benefit you might get. All right, if you do get benefit and it's been postponed, you do get it backdated. But what if you need money there and then? The thing is, with the DWP, it takes up to, I think, 7 to 14 weeks for them to even decide if you can get your benefit. And if you get declined, you've then got to open an appeal, get an appeal letter, get that filled in, send that back, and then hopefully they will accept the appeal and then give you your benefits and then backdate you from the time you put your first claimant in. So if I wasn't on benefits now, if I put a form in to claim benefits now, yeah, with the help with Sucides Advice, it takes 14 weeks maximum, yeah. Then if they reject it and I have to get an appeal and I get the appeal letter, I've then got to make an appointment with the Sucides Advice again, which is a pretty busy company. They could take 2 or 3 weeks, right? And sometimes the appeal is a deadline. Fill this form out, you've got 6 weeks to fill it in and get it back to us before we can actually look at it. And when we do get it, it could take another 7 or 14 weeks. So they're saying, if you don't get your appeal in within 6 weeks, we won't look at your claim account. We won't look at your account again. It'd just be a no-no. So what you got to do then is go to Sucides Advice, get them to help you to do your appeal. Once that's all sorted out and filled in, you send it back to DWP, then you go away another 14 weeks. But what are you going to do without no money? What if you ain't got any money in the bank to help you survive those 3 to 6 months before they even decide, even if they accept the appeal and say, yeah, okay, jump on your first credit, we'll help you out, we'll pay your rent, we'll give you a little bit of money for your shopping. I'll be honest with you, the money that I get isn't a lot. I'm barely scraping through. I sometimes don't eat each day because I can't afford to. I'd rather pay my bills than be in debt. And when you're in debt, that can also lead to like self harm, you know, end up in hospital, ending up 6 feet deep, underground or something, because like you just can't handle what's happening to you. You're not getting the help that you're hoping to get. You see what I mean? Now, DWP are a bunch of idiots anyway, yeah, because I've rang them up many times and I've always got the wrong answers. And I've had to ring up Centre Device and tell them what they've said. I said, no, that person don't know what they're talking about. You can do this, you can do that, you've got your rights. But, when you ring them up, a lot of the agents on DWP haven't even been trained to answer the questions that you're asking and to get the right answer back. So DWP is, in one way, like a part of the way people in this country are ending up either committing suicide or self-harming themselves and end up in hospital, having a mental breakdown, end up in an asylum or whatever. So yeah, I do think that DWP is a big part of this, yeah. Now PIP, to claim PIP, you got to have, PIP isn't like under DWP, but it's a different claimant. It's a different type of money you get while you're on DWP, right? If you're on DWP, you're on first credit and you're getting like your housing benefit, your council tax paid, and you're getting like a small income given to you from them for like, your living and, paying your bills and shit like that, yeah. The PIP payment is completely different from universal credit and it doesn't affect your universal credit, right? It won't affect it in any way. But with PIP, when they send you a form, that's like a 20-page form, and that can also be very depressing. It can kick in your anxiety. It's a form which doesn't make sense. Again, you would have to get someone who knows how to fill the form in for you because it will cause you depression, it will cause you anxiety, it'll send you crazy, it'll give you constant headaches, unless you're someone who knows what you're doing and then, you're able to fill it in by yourself. But again, you'd probably need either a family member or you'd need to make an appointment with Centre Device to actually fill the form in for you to send it back. Plus, not only that, you need doctor notes, certificates, you need letters from the hospital stating what illnesses you've got, you've got any like operations or anything like that, yeah, anything medical you need to get and send off to them. Plus, you've got to send them the evidence that you're getting universal credit. Now, with PIP, all right, which also contributes to people getting like, worse with their mental health and whatnot, and causing them to end up in hospital or 6 feet under. To claim PIP, it says here, right, how PIP works. There are two parts of PIP, right? A daily part if you need help with everyday tasks, a mobility part if you need help with getting around, right? Whether you get one or both parts and how much you get depends on how difficulty you find everyday tasks. If you might have less than 12 months to live, you'll automatically get the daily living part. Whether you get the mobility part depends on your needs. Find out how. So if you find out by the doctor you've got like 11 months to live because you had a serious accident, yeah. All right, you may be automatically put on the actual um, daily living part, but the mobility is like how you get around, how you can do things, and what they put on this, right? You might get the daily living part if you need help with, if you need help. If you can do these things, then they turn around and say, well, sorry, no, you can do this, you can do that. We're not going to accept you, right? And these are like, can you prepare food? If you say, yeah, right, okay, you don't get no points for that. If you can't prepare food, then you might get 1 point. Eating and drinking. Yeah, I can eat and drink. Right, okay, well, you're not going to get no points for that unless you've got some kind of like illness where you can't eat and drink, then, and you've got some kind of home help to help you food and to help you eat food and drink, then you get a point. But if you can do it yourself, don't get nothing. Manage your medications or treatment. Now, my medication, right, this is for me. I have a problem with my medication. Always have done. I'm always either missing medication out, or I'm taking too much medication, or my medication's delayed. Like this week, I ordered 5 different medications for my mental health issues and my illnesses. Yeah, I ordered them Sunday, early Monday morning, 2 o'clock, I think it was. Now, normally, I'd get a text message from my chemist saying, your prescription's ready. I didn't get a text message, which I thought was strange because I thought, hang on, what day is it today? I'm thinking. And I had to go on my phone to find out what day it was, which is Friday. And I ain't got no text. I could have gone to the chemist yesterday while I was out shopping, but I've completely forgot all about it. So I've just been to the chemist and I said, yeah, have you got my prescription ready? And they said, yeah. I said, well, how comes I didn't get a text message? Oh, I'm sorry, there's been an issue with the, texting service. Oh, I can understand that, yeah, but surely the doctor's surgery should be sending you out a text message or ringing you to let you know that your prescription's ready. But my doctors don't do fuck all. My surgery hasn't contacted me for months and months and months, right? And every time you try to ring up the doctors, it's like trying to get through and make an appointment with a king or some kind of royalty. It's impossible unless you go up there and wait in a queue to be seen and then ask for an appointment. They usually turn around and say, oh, sorry, you've got no appointment for 2 weeks. You have to come back and try to make an appointment then. That's what it used to be like with my old surgery. The new one ain't so bad. Now you can go up there, and if the need is so urgently, they would try to squeeze you in. If it ain't that urgently, then they just say, well, we ain't got an appointment, but we can make a telephone appointment for you for later on today or tomorrow or whenever. And then the doctor will ring up and say, well, what's the matter? You tell them, and they say, okay, well, I'll prescribe you so and so, and just go to the chemist and pick up your medication, like that, kind of thing. But with PIP, if you can eat and drink, that's okay with them. Even if you're eating very slowly, and you've only got one hand, let's say you only got one, but you can still eat and drink with one hand, that's okay with them. You know, they might take it in consideration that you've only got one hand, and you might get a point for only having one hand and not the other hand, but it's only like 1 point. Now, I think you've got to get 12 points before you can actually claim the PIP. I don't know, I can't remember. So, managing your medications, as I say, I'm always screwing up with my medications. I think I've even overdosed a few times by mistake. and just passed out. I've even been to the hospital from like attempted overdose before because of all the fucking shit and depression I've been going through over the last few years. And I have thought about doing myself in, but I don't do it because I think of my kids and my grandkids, kind of thing. So that's the only reason I don't really self-harm myself. I'm trying to think about them and anything else. So the next one, washing and bathing. Well, yeah, I can wash myself, yeah, but there's certain parts I can't wash. I can't wash my back because I'm not fucking double jointed. I have arthritis in the hands and in the knees, so I can't really bend down that much. I can't really put pressure on myself to dry myself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have the same kind of issue. They can't dry themselves or wash themselves properly because arthritis is a very serious illness where it stops you to have the ability to do certain things. The other thing is using the toilet. Well, unless you can't go to the toilet yourself and you've got self-help, then you will get a point if you have someone there helping you to go to the toilet, to get your thing out so you can pee, to wipe your backside because you can't do it yourself. Because you could be a complete invalid, you might not have no arms, no hands, because you've been into a serious accident, or you might have been born with that disability where you can't use your arms and legs or your hands or anything like that. So if you can go to the toilet, then that's okay, Even if you have a problem going to the toilet and clean yourself, as long as you're cleaning yourself partially, that's okay with them. If you're soiling yourself every single day, which I don't, thankfully, but let's say you soil yourself, you piss yourself, shit yourself, and you have to keep going to the bathroom and trying to clean yourself, then you might get a point for that. But if you're going to the toilet and you're able to clean your backside, then you're okay with that. Oh, well, you can do that. We're not going to give you a point for that. Dressing and undressing. If you have a problem with dressing and undressing, then sometimes you would probably need, again, a care worker to help you dress and undress. Depends on your disabilities, I do have problems, like sometimes dressing myself because I do have arthritis in the hands, and they can be very painful sometimes. And when I'm trying to put my trousers on, I've got to bend my knees, and even my knees give me a lot of pain when I'm bending down. So I have to take time to dress myself. But one time I used to be able to dress myself within a minute, a minute off. Now it takes me up to 5 minutes to get dressed. Depends on what I'm wearing, If I'm trying to do a zipper up, I can't do it with my left hand. I can do it with my right hand if the zipper is, well, it doesn't matter if it's left hand or right hand, but I can use it. I can do a zipper up with my right hand, but I can't do it with my left hand. I can't even grip with my left hand sometimes. No, I can move things around with my left hand, but I can't grip like a pen, a pencil, and stuff like that. If I'm playing games, all I'm doing is like moving that and that. That's the two fingers I can use. Although I can bend these three fingers, I can't grip these three fingers. That's why I don't use keyboard that much. Because I can't put pressure on these three fingers, because when I do, it really hurts. But as long as you can use one hand, you're okay with that. You can dress with one hand. Actually, I have seen a video where a person was able to dress themselves with just their feet, so they have no arms and hands. Reading. Well, you've got to fucking read to fill the forms out, haven't you? Unless you're dyslexic and you can't read them right. Then you have to go to a sitting advice or get a family member to actually fill the forms in. But then, hang on a minute, you ring them up. Well, how did you ring us? You know, you must be able to read the numbers to make the call. So yeah, you can read. And in one way, typing the keyboard on your telephone is writing in one way, isn't it? So you can't turn around and say, "Well, I can't read and write," unless you can't really read and write, and you've got someone else, such as like family members or sentence vice to help you to actually read and write your name and sign all that shit. What if you can't write? How do you sign it? Do the family member or the sentence vice sign it for you on behalf and say, "Sorry, this guy can't write. He can't do his signature," or this woman? I don't know. Managing your money. I'm always squandering my money. I buy shit that I don't even fucking need. I have stopped doing that because, you know, my health has kind of like deteriorated a bit because I'm not eating as much. Sometimes I don't go, well, sometimes I don't eat because I can't afford to eat because I've got to pay my bills. And as you all know, everything's gone up since the big pandemic. The bills have gone up. I mean, at one time, 2 years ago, my water, right, I wasn't really using a lot of water, but my water used to be like £16 a month. It's now over £30. With my electric, I used to get away with around about £10 to £15 per week, so I wasn't really using a lot of electricity. That's also doubled to £30. Gas I don't use because I can't afford to use gas, and even a little pile of light in the cooker used to kick on. Sometimes I have to fucking the little gas stove cooker I've got to cook something, but while it's cooking, I'm out. I'm out in the room, and I'll only go back in until I can start smelling like the food burning a little bit. Then I can go in and turn it off. But even when I'm using like propane gas, that will kick off my asthma really bad, and also it gives me bad headaches. So managing money, I've had to like stop buying all the shit that I used to like buying. I really want to buy a PlayStation 5 actually, but I'm not even going to bother because I just can't afford to buy it. Some of the stuff I have got, I've actually traded in with Sucides just to get credit, not money, credit, to get some of the games and the console that I wanted. But then when I got my Xbox X, I still had to pay X amount towards it because I didn't have enough credit to pay for it. So that meant like budgeting your money, which I can barely ever do, kind of thing. And I thought, well, if I have to put something to this console what I want, so rarely I treat myself to anything, high standard. I'd go without food for a couple of days, out of the whole week. And I still do sometimes because, the bills and the cost of living, shopping has gone up so fucking much. Over the last 2 days, I spent £60 on shopping. And that same shopping would have cost me around about £30 last year. It's doubled. It's doubled. So managing your money, you know, they also, if you're paying your bills and like, you're putting money by for your shopping, you're not buying all the shit, you're managing it. In one way, yes, but in another way, no, because I can fuck up with my money. I can like say, right, let's pay this off, let's pay that off, and pay that off. Then I realise I've paid all those off, and I ain't got no money for myself to buy food with. And that's what happens sometimes. After paying like the TV license, my mobile phone, my internet, my telephone, my electricity. What else is there? I don't pay gas, but I do have to pay for propane gas. burn my little cooker when I use it. So yeah, I am still paying for gas in one way. Time I paid all my bills, I ain't got hardly anything left. I probably might have about £70 for the month, if that. Socialising and being around other people. Well, I don't like going out anywhere. Even when my kids ring up saying, "Oh, we're going out for a meal. Do you want to come, Dad?" No. Why? I just don't like being around people. No. When my daughter had a wedding, that's completely different. I had to go because I was like, giving my daughter away. But if she wasn't getting married, which she did do, and it was a great day, I'd have been sitting here like I'm doing now, doing nothing. Sitting here watching TV or YouTube or doing videos or some other shit. But I don't like going out socialising. Even when I go shopping, I won't talk to anyone. I won't even talk to the cashier. I might just say thank you and that's it. If they turn around and they try and be nice and say, "Oh, how's your day?" I say, "Not too bad, thanks," and that's it. No, I don't have a conversation with anyone. I am a loner, and I think sometimes I like being alone because when you got a lot of friends around you and you're listening to all their kind of like problems, that can build onto you as well, and that can also kind of like contribute with mental health issues. So that's why I don't like communicating with a lot of people. I don't even really talk to my family, to be honest with you. Like, unless they ring me, then I talk to them. I don't really like doing that because it's just going to be costing the phone calls, kind of thing. Um, I did ring my mum up yesterday because she sent me a birthday card and I had to say thank you to her. And I spoke to my sister Denise on the phone the other day because she rang me. But to be honest with you, it's just like family that I talk to. I won't talk to anyone outside. I won't even talk to my neighbours. And I'm glad that they're moving that on the 17th. At least that might help to lower my depression and anxiety. Because their bloody kids keep causing all the problems. So socialising and being around other people, that's a no-no for me. So I might get a point for that. I don't know. Managing your money. Well, if you're managing your money and you're paying all your bills, then you're managing your money, so you don't get nothing for that. So the other one is talking, listening, and understanding. Well, I'm not talking to anyone, so I don't need to listen and I don't need to understand, do I? But if someone actually comes up to me and starts talking to me, then I've got to listen and I've got to try and understand. So that's like, well, how do you put that? You know, you can listen, you can talk, and you can understand people. Unless you're completely deaf as a doornail, you ain't got no hearing, you've just lost hearing or you've not had no hearing for a certain amount of time and can't do like that special thing with your hand, or even like lip read, then I can listen. I can listen to the TV, I can understand the TV and all that kind of shit. So I don't get nothing for that. Now, another one, mobility part. You might get mobility part if you need help with working out a route and following it. Well, if you've got an appointment with the job centre, you've got to work out how you're going to get there, what time you've got to get there, and how to follow your appointment plan. So let's say I'll get a phone call saying, "Oh, you need to be at the job centre on Monday at 10 a.m." I've got to work out what route I'm going to go. I've got to work out how I'm going to go there, how I'm going to get dressed, what time I'm going to leave, if I've got the money to get there, how am I going to get there? So waking up, getting dressed, possibly feeding yourself, right? Following the routine by getting to the bus stop, getting to the job centre, being there on time. So that's your working out route and following it. Bam. So yeah, I can do that. So you don't get nothing for that. Your mobility is perfect if you can do that. If you can't get out of bed, you can't feed yourself, you can't dress yourself, you can't get out, you can't get a bus, you can't get there at a certain time, then you get a point for it. If you do that, you won't get nothing for it. Physically moving around. Well, I've arthritis in the knee, so it's very painful when I do go out. That's why I don't go out as much as I used to like going. If you see my other videos in the past, bushcrafting, milk detecting, magnet fishing, normal fishing, nature walks, I ain't done that for a good few years because my mobility with my knees are so bad. I normally have to take a walking stick out with me, and not only that, I have to stop every 50 to 100 yards. Depends on what condition I'm in, I suppose. Like if I'm in a kind of like low down, tired, exhausted condition, and I need to go and get my medication, and sometimes I have to stop every 50 yards because my knees hurting. And I do have arthritis. Well, it's actually worse than arthritis. Under my knee joint, I've got these little kind of like bony spores, and these spores are rubbing my kneecap, and it's actually wearing my kneecap down, and that is causing arthritis. There is a special word for it, but I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, my left knee always gives me problems, and my right knee is also giving me problems, but it's not as bad. It's bad, but it's not as bad as my left knee. And I have arthritis in the other hands as well. Both hands, but my left hand is worse than my right hand. So really, my left hand and my right knee is worse than my right hand and my right knee. So getting around can be very painful. When you're sitting down for a certain amount of time, you've got to get up to stretch your legs and your knee because your knee locks up and it really shoots the pain through your leg. And you've got to take pain medication to try and stop the pain. And yeah, it's just like very awkward to get up and down. And even when you're laying down, sometimes you get that twinge in your knee because like you turn around the wrong way round and it just like locks up. Sometimes when you go to the bathroom, you're sitting on the toilet, your knee will just lock up. So the only way you might get a point for that is if you can prove that from a doctor's certificate and an X-ray certificate. Then you've got to actually explain what causes it, what causes your arthritis, what causes your knee to pain up. It don't, it ain't just got to be your knee. It could be your foot, it could be your hand, it could be your elbow, it could be your neck, it could be your back, whatever. But for all that, you've got to have some proof to prove to the PIP department that you have specific issues with your body, and you've got to have medical certificates and possible X-rays to even get a point on that one. Leaving your home, I don't leave my home unless I need to go out. Just do shopping. I say when I used to do a lot of stuff outside, I was okay then, but I don't do that now because I can't afford to go out on the bus. Some people say, well, I just go out for a walk. I can't go out for long walks like I used to because of my knees and my asthma. I can walk 50 yards before I can have to stop and rest my knee, or I might suddenly start getting out of breath and I have to use my asthma inhalers. And I've got like 3 different asthma inhalers that I have to use. well, you get need to make another appointment, go to have an asthma review again. So there is a lot of things that you have to prove to get any extra income from PIP, and PIP can be a pain in the backside, just like Universal Credit, where they send you a fucking great folder of leaflets, pamphlets, saying what you can and can't apply for. You know, do you pass these specific daily routines, like what I said before, preparing food, eating, drinking, medication, washing, using the toilet, dressing, undressing, reading, managing money, social, being around other people, talking, listening, understanding. If you can do any of that, then you don't get any points. If you can't do some of those, then you might get your point. Then like the mobility part, working out a routine and following it, physical moving around and leaving your home. How difficulty with task is assessed. The Department of Work mentioned DWP will assess your difficulty to find daily living and mobility tasks. For each task they'll look at whether you can do it safely, how long it takes you, how often your condition affects this activity, whether you need whether you need help to do it from a person or using extra equipment. And if you do get enough points to claim PIP, alright, sometimes that can be up to 6 months before you actually get any form of payment, but it will be backdated. So anything from like, because it does, you know, I know that with PIP, if you claim for it, you know, because I've done some of this research myself, if you claim for PIP, it can take a while for you to actually fill the form out, especially if you've got help with sitting device. But they give you like, I think either 2 month or 3 month deadline for you to get it in. And once you've got the form sent to them, you know, whether it does take you 3 months to get it all filled in and for them to receive it within that 3 month period. Again, it can take up to uh, 8 to 16 weeks for them to actually assess it and tell you if you're going to be accepted for PIP. And if they turn around and say, nope, sorry, you know, we don't think that's enough. You know, you can do this, you can do that. You know, you said this and that on your form. And sometimes, you know, people will lie on their form to get their, you know, these specific ways of income. But if you get caught out, you're fucked because you will have to pay all the benefits back, and you know, you can get a fine or end up in prison for like, you know, defrauding the benefit system. So you've got to be upfront and honest with them. But if you're upfront and honest with them, you ain't going to get fuck all. So sometimes you might have to put a little white lie in. I know they hope they don't find out. No, but if you've got, you know, all the proof and evidence that you're, you know, totally ill, you know, you've got mental health issues, you suffer with stress, depression, anxiety, you can't do some of this mobility, this kind of stuff, you know, and some of the daily living stuff, you know, there is a possibility you might, it's like a 50-50 kind of chance, you know, less than that, probably 25% that you may get it, and 75% you won't get it. And if you don't get it, then you got the chance to appeal it again. And that's more time to like, you know, fill in more forms to, you know, like the appeal form. Then you've got to write a letter saying, well, like, you know, certain things have changed since I passed on, you know, like, since I last sent the form in. You know, I've got more medical evidence. You know, the doctors, you know, kind of like got me to go to the hospital and got certain x-rays and certain letters from the hospital and stuff like that. Because sometimes when you're trying to fill in forms, you don't think that, you know, there are certain things that you can put in which you don't realise. Like, I know people where they turn around and said, like, filled in the form, sent it off, and realised that there was other stuff they could have put in with the form when they sent it off, and they didn't put it in the first place, you know. So they've got to ring them up and say, like, oh, I forgot to do this, you know, I forgot to do that. And sometimes, you know, the agent on the phone might say, okay, you know, I'll write it down, because they've got to write it down on their computer. They've got to, like, you know, write down all this information when you ring up, whether it's DWP, PIP, or whatever, you know, disability. You know, they've got to write it all down. I say, right, okay, well, you got the extra proof under these certain medical conditions, send them now. And then once we get them, we can add them to your original documents. It's not worth you waiting until they turn around and say, well, yeah or nay, you know, you can't have it. Because if you have to appeal, you've got to send all those forms in then. It's best for you to send them forms in as soon as you can. Even if you sent the forms off already, send off any other information, documents, doctor certificates, x-rays, whatever, you know, kind of thing. Get them all off at the same time we can, or even before they decide if you can actually kind of like claim PIP. Because I'm, again, on, like, you know, social media, I've read so many stories where people have been turned down to PIP. They just like said fuck it, and then with their own life, you know, kind of thing. And what pisses me off, where people say, oh, like, oh, he's claiming benefits. But it's not our fault that we've got claim benefits if we're fucking out of work, or if, like, we're mentally unstable. No, if someone was working now and so, well, I've had people say this to me, oh, you're a lady scumbag benefits company, you know, kind of thing. Well, I have worked a lot of my lifetime, yeah. I've worked many jobs. I've paid my taxes. So don't you think I'm entitled to some of that money back? Because I fucking think I am. You know, if I paid, like, national insurance and contributions and taxes at my wages, surely I'm entitled to some of that back. And I'm not saying how long I have actually been on DWP, and I'm not even saying if I want PIP or not, because it's not one fucking business. But I am entitled to have certain payments under certain benefits to keep me alive and try to get me a little bit better. So someone to turn around and say, oh, you're a benefit scumbag, you know, you're just claiming benefits and you're not going out of work. There are certain things that I can't do and I'm not allowed to do. You know, by, you know, from what the doctor said, you know, I can't go out and work in a fucking factory because, you know, the state of depression and anxiety could lead to serious accidents, you know. And the reason I'm not well enough to go out and fucking work. You know, if I could go and get a job tomorrow and I knew I was going to be able to pay all my bills and, you know, my rent and, you know, my food consumption, then I'll go and get a job tomorrow. But there ain't many jobs out there. You know, if you think about it, there's so many people out of work at the moment because of the recession, because of the pandemic. You know, even a lot of the big shopping centres have been closed down. So where are those people going to get their money from? They've got to claim benefits, haven't they? So for those who call me a scumbag, benefit cheat or whatever, yeah, well, wait until you lose your job and you have to sign on and get benefits, then you'll know what it's fucking like. It's not nice being on benefit, I tell you, because you don't get as much as you think you do. Now, if I could go and get a job tomorrow, if I was well enough, I would do. But I can't because I'm not well enough. I have mental health issues, I have anxiety, I have depression, I have, like, illnesses, you know, I have what's it called? Uh, fucking hell, I've said it enough times, I can't think what it is now. You know, I have problems with my hands and knees, put it that way. Um, and another thing, right, yeah, is that on social media, oh, if you've got one of these special complaints, you can claim benefits. You can claim PIP if you've got like a skin disease, or if you've got asthma, or if you have headaches, or you've got watery eyes. That's bollocks. That's a load of fucking bollocks. If you can pass the daily living part and the disability part, PIP don't give a shit about anyone who has psoriasis, which is skin complaint, which I've got. Right, I've got psoriasis on my leg, and I have like itchy scalp, which is like psoriasis as well. Asthma, I don't give a fuck about that. Headaches, I don't give a fuck about that. I sent like so many different like letters. I don't give a fuck. As long as you're living and breathing, that's the main thing, yeah. You could have. I'm not saying like cancer. I think like cancer, you probably would get something. But if you've got like where I'm pretty sure a lot of people have had like messages and emails saying, oh, you've got one of these specific illnesses, you can claim PIP. It don't work that way. So I've spoken to an agent on PIP. And I said, well, like, in the media that they said this and that, is that true? No, it ain't true. Because it's not a part of the daily living or the mobility part. Unless you're, even with asthma, I don't know what the worst asthma effect could be. I do get asthma and I have to use my inhaler a few times a day, yeah. I had to use it twice when I was out shopping today. Two different ones. Apparently, I should only be using one inhaler, but I was so out of breath today, it was unbelievable. And I do lose breathness quite a lot. Even if I'm sitting there, I might start, you know, feeling like, I'm not able to breathe properly, and I have to use an asthma inhaler. I've always got one or two here beside me. Like this one, I don't even see that. The blue one, I use. I was using twice every time I use it, squirt, squirt, and it helped. But when I went for my last asthma review, I did it twice. She goes, you don't need to do it twice, just once. I said, yeah, but once doesn't seem to help. If I do it twice, then it helps me breathe a bit quicker. So she goes, well, you don't need to do that. Just once should be enough. I said, well, I can't. I've got to use it twice. So then they decided to give me this other one. And this is one of the ones that I didn't even know they had at one time. Well, the medical services knew they had them, but the doctor didn't know that they had them available on NHS, like under free prescription. My doctor at the time had to do a lot of research to find out what inhaler would probably help me. And this one probably butchered my name, but it's called Alvesco, Alvesco, Alvesco. The 80 inhaler. 80 inhaler means at 80 milligram. The other one I just dropped on the floor is Sanamo, Salmol, Sanamo. That's 100 milligrams. So when I went out shopping today, I started getting out of breath just walking down the road to the corner. So I squirted this a couple of times. It helped a little bit, but as soon as I went into the shopping centre, I started doing shopping, I felt like really kind of out of breath again. And I was kind of trying to catch my breath. So I squirted this one, and that one helped. So this one does help a bit more better than that one does. But I do have another one which is a more a browner colour, which I can't really taste. It just tastes fucking horrible and makes me feel sick. But with PIP, I spoke to them. I rang them up just to see what they say. I said, well, like on the social media, they say you can claim for this and that and whatever. And I gave them a long list. I said, no, 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 yes, no, no, maybe. And I said, why are they saying that? Well, they say anything for you to read it, and for you to waste your time and our time. Now, can you claim on certain things on, like on PIP, where the social media says, oh, you've got psoriasis, you can claim for skin disorder. You've got headaches, you can claim for headaches, depending on how bad your headaches is, which is a mild headache or a bad headache, and migraines. And I get shitloads of migraines, right? People who are on this channel know the bad headaches I usually get. Eczema is another skin disease. They don't give a fuck about that. Hay fever, which is a pretty bad allergy when your eyes start itching and watering like fuck, which I had just recently, last couple of weeks ago. My eyes were itching and watering so bad, like, I had to keep washing my eyes out. I kept using tissue, and they do say, not PIP, but medical services say do not dry your eyes with tissue because the fibres in the tissue can make it worse. So there's me doing this constantly, and the fibres in the tissue is actually getting in the eyes and making it worse. So what you've got to do is wash your eyes with warm water and just get even with a towel with this fibre, but just damp it, don't do that, just go. Or let it dry on its own, and that should help. But for me, I don't do that. I'm always fucking making it worse by doing that. Making the fibre from the tissue getting in the eyes and causing more problem, more fucking sore, itchy, watery eyes. What else is there? God, they had so many things that apparently you could claim PIP for. It was unbelievable. Itchy skin. If you're scratching, you can claim for that. Apparently, there was one social media, I can't remember what it was, but it came from my phone. It said, if you've got one of these 65 health conditions, you can claim for PIP. How many health conditions can one person have? I suppose, there are probably different stages of different types of eczema, probably different types of psoriasis. The only thing I haven't seen is syphilis or crutch shot. You've got itchy bollocks or sweaty bollocks, or you've got an itchy crutch. Not seeing that on any social media saying, oh, well, that's a skin disease, They not put that on, but maybe they might do if they watch this video. Oh, let add that to the next 56 fucking listeners. Teeth dropping out. Well, your teeth drop out, you're not going to be able to eat, are you, really? You're going to have to make mushed up soup or something, and suck it through a straw. But then that's eating, isn't it? Even if you have a drip to feed you, that's still eating. But you wouldn't get nothing for it, though, would you? Oh, what he's eating through a drip. He's sucking through a straw. It does kind of lower him down from eating solid foods, but, a liquidizer, it's still eating. They won't put that through. There's so many things that someone could have, and people will not allow it. even though it is a illness, as long as you can do something like, eat, drink, test shit, you're okay. They won't give you no points for it. If you can't eat shit, piss, then you'll get a point. But what's the point of getting a point and getting a little bit of help? You can be dead by then. There was another article where some guy had been on universal credit and he found out that he was entitled to PIP, right? He's gone through all the paperwork, it got rejected. He put the appeal in and still it got rejected. And the guy had been in a serious accident. He was missing a leg. Half his fingers were missing. He stated he had like brain tumour at one time as well, and he had like real bad headaches and stuff like that. They still rejected him on an appeal. So what did he go and do? He ended up 6 foot under because he couldn't deal with it anymore. So what kind of shit do you have to put down before you get picked? No, this government fucking sucks. It's not so much the government; it's the fucking, like health services. DWP and PIP. They don't give a fuck. If they can try to save money, they will do. And that money they save is probably going in their own back pocket, I bet you. Because there's been a few articles where people worked on DWP was backhanding themselves and eventually they could get caught and end up in prison. But there's still people doing it. I bet some of the people who work in these departments are fucking claiming themselves, although they don't need to claim it. Can't prove it, but I won't be surprised. There's always, cut people behind certain businesses, isn't there, really? But yeah, I thought I'd just do this video. I know I've been on for an hour, but it saved me from doing a little bit of gaming. I was playing some gaming last night, and I didn't realise I was for 4 hours on my second video, and my eyes just started going really weird. I felt like dizzy, nauseous. I thought I was going to pass out. So I had to come off. Because there was a story which I read again, about a year ago. Some guy had been gaming for like over 12 hours without taking a break, and he ended up in hospital because he had a seizure because of the game he was playing. And he wasn't taking a break, he wasn't resting his eyes, he wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, and he ended up in hospital. Now, I don't know if you can see that my camera keeps flicking, so I don't know why. But anyway, I hope this might have helped a few people. If it has, good. If it hasn't, sorry about that. I hope the video don't get taken down or flagged or anything, because I'm not putting DWP down or PIP down. They do help a lot of people, but I think the way they actually operate and decide on people's mental health and awareness sucks. So anyway, I'm off and I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Bye for now. And have a good Christmas if I don't see you. Or speak to you. Right, bye bye.